Welcome back to the Great Late Reviews series where one man on the internet talks about video games. He is judgmental, he is vicious, he is ready for action, he is... me. Well, hello there again, dear viewer. Today we're gonna talk about the game short and sweet, and hope that the review gonna be the same. The name is Blacktail, developed by Polish studio Parasight. Have you heard the story of Baba Yaga? If you were growing in Poland several decades ago like me, maybe you have. In each household it was told slightly different, but same elements remained. Deep magical parts of the forest, hat on a chicken leg, the black cat. When it comes to Baba Yaga herself, different regions have quite different description of her. Depending if the story was told in Western Europe, Balkans or Slavic countries, she could be anything in between beautiful young woman to an old hag who could kill you with the looks alone. In some versions of the story she was shape-shifting, luring men of all ages with her youthful visage, just to turn into devilish abomination when needed. In the Blacktail, we got quite different and unique take on Baba Yaga. We got two voices representing duality of soul, perception, consciousness, good and evil, mixing together into grey of morality. Choices, some more obvious, other not so much, reminds me of a Metro series, but only during gameplay. I don't know if your playstyle affects the ending, which is short, to the point, and subject for some interpretation. Authors are using very smart ways of writing. They intertwine known stories in the dialogues, while adding new content to them and making the whole game a wonderful experience, where side quests are in reality the optional fragments of the main story, disguised as such. Call me impressed, I myself was a writer in my younger days, so I can appreciate virtuosity of word usage. But you suck at composing these reviews, I hear you yell through the screen. Well, dear listener, I am old, rusty, and English is not my first language, so forgive me my imperfections and enjoy the rest of the presentation. Ah yes, smooth movement and responsive controls. This is the gaming we all love enjoying. If every game was like that, one can only wish. Combat in this title is based on the bow and magic usage, which is good with only one downside. Crafting arrows all the time, cause you can only carry a small amount of them at any given time. We could use a bigger quiver or just some kind of automation in the arrow crafting matter. Oh well, you can't have it all, can you? Wandering around the world, we're gonna encounter some bosses along the way. They are very well designed and fun to fight, but it's not anything we haven't seen in other good first-person perspective games. The map to explore is really big, even if we are often set to our destination by narrow paths and passes. Real, genuine creativity went to the designing of the world. It looks like a fairy tale indeed, just look at it. For such complex and rich environment, the safe shrines are not placed dense enough for my liking, and we end up replaying longer sections of a game, where a safe shrine in more dangerous areas could alleviate it easily. Yaga, during her adventures, like more standard protagonists, is gaining new skills and perks, but in more unique and strange way. First, you need to find a recipe, which you will by doing different activities. Don't worry, you will not need to climb radio towers or other modern gaming BS. It will all come naturally, trust me. After you get before mentioned recipes, you're gonna need to craft the skill, using materials gathered along the way. I find it unnecessary and annoying since you need to get back to your hut in the middle of the forest to do that, and then you find out that you miss one flower or something silly like that. Good thing we got catapultation as one of the game systems. But not all of your gameplay is going to be in first-person perspective. We got some minigames to change the pace a little bit. They are decent, and what's more important, they are used as an interactive element during some longer story expositions. That was a very smart idea. Without it, the sheer storytelling could overwhelm some players. All in all, gameplay in Blacktail is very good in my opinion. It's not Call of Duty in Magic Forest, but it shouldn't be in the first place. I can still hear the music in my head. Last time it happened was after over 100 hours in The Witcher 3, and Blacktail took me only around 15 in order to finish the game. I am enchanted and almost speechless because of the beauty of music inside the game. We often forget when we listen to compositions from other regions of the world that we ourselves got great regional sounds and very talented artists that provide us with masterful musical performances. No matter how much good music we have in the recorded history, we can always use more. The sound design is excellent as well, one of the best I've ever heard and felt in video game. The ambience and mix of all other sounds make me feel like I'm taking a stroll in the nearby forest. Minus the magical creatures, of course. Well, I guess it depends if you consider deer and boar animals of magic. But if you do, maybe you should ask your doctor to change your medical prescriptions, or well, maybe just enjoy it while you can. The last aspect of the sound is voice acting, and again it's excellent and wonderful. Actors bring life into the characters on the screen. It's amazing that even not so good lip sync could not bring it down. But well, when you are listening to mushrooms and plants talking, maybe lip sync is not the most important thing in the world. Visuals are great. Masterful design of creatures and environment elements make you feel like you are living and breathing a fantasy world. The choice to include abstract representations of some things alongside with their real-life versions was a superb one. You got Sun looking like in the picture of talented but still very young child, while the light it gives looks realistic. Same with the night sky, it's got both types of stars. 5-arm artistic styles like from children theater decorations and the dots that we often see above our heads during night hours when the sky is clear. Someone should really get a game award for that alone. Performance of all this beauty in motion is very good, except for the max out settings. These lose on the smooth frame pacing and sometimes can get half from just one setting below. I suspect hidden ray tracing could be the cause of that, but I have no way to test it. I suggest graphical settings on high with textures on ultra and it all works fine, without any noticeable drop in visual fidelity. I would even say game looks more washed out on ultra, maybe too much volumetrics or something like that. Game has only one noticeable bug. Sometimes rarely, but still, I was attacked by invisible enemy. Short sprint always resolved an issue, and by the time you're hearing this, it could be long patch. Sometimes it just hits you when you're playing the game. Video games can be masterpieces of art as well as number of other things. This is a special medium though. It has all the characteristics of a film: sound, music, visuals, acting and so on. But inside the game you can interact with all of that. Players appreciate great AAA titles like Skyrim, Witcher 3 or Elden Ring, but often they forgo or even never hear about those small hidden gems like Blacktail. Maybe it's the marketing, maybe not enough enthusiasm from the fans of the game. I have no idea, but one thing I know: that I said my piece and I fully recommend Blacktail to all video game players. It's just too good to not play it. Don't let this treasure slip through your fingers in the stream of time and attention that we all have limited by the nature of our existence. But what would we be if not for the great stories we tell each other? In this spirit I leave you, dear viewer. Until the next Great Late Review.